Hey, thanks so much for finding the video. Do us a favor. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. And be sure to leave your comment. We love to interact. Enjoy the video. Cam Jordan did the ESPN virtual car wash circuit today. And as you would expect, the topic of who is going to play quarterback for the Saints next year happened to come up. This with obviously Drew Brees pushing a weighted sled down a parking lot in San Diego and the very obvious and prominent conversation surrounding Russell Wilson and Russell Wilson's agent listing New Orleans among the 4 approved trade destinations if the Seahawks were to deal their Pro Bowl quarterback. I want to take you back to last week, though, before we let you hear what Cam Jordan said today, because Cam Jordan was a guest on the Great Dane Nation podcast. That's Morton Anderson's podcast. And Morton starts to ask him about Taysom Hill, and Cam interrupted him very abruptly to point out that Jameis Winston is actually the guy who would be the quarterback.
A lot has been said about Drew Brees, and this is his last year. Is this his last year? And if so, is it Taysom Hill up next?
Jameis Winston up next, I believe, is what Sean Payton said.
Jameis, okay.
Yeah, I mean, Sean wouldn't say, he's fighting for Jameis to be back if our goal was to have Taysom. But that's again, rare instances where it's just beyond my pay grade.
Rare instances where it's beyond my pay grade. Rare instances. I mean, there's a couple of things that are obvious from that is there's a politically correct toe the company line way to approach that, which is Drew's going to make his own decision. He'll take the time, and I trust our organization to put the best guy in that spot to deliver. And Sean's a great coach. I know our offense would be great if it's Taysom or Jameis or somebody else. Like, that's the PC way to do it, and Cam Jordan didn't do that. He abruptly said, "You mean Jameis?" When Morton Anderson said Taysom, "You mean Jameis?" Less than a week later is when we have Drew Brees pushing a sled down a parking lot in San Diego, which we discussed on Monday's show, which clearly is just a guy staying in shape. I mean, there's not anything to be read into that more than what it is. It's a guy just staying in shape who's worked out every day of his life. But Cam Jordan today was on Get Up, and they asked him about Russell Wilson, as you expect, and he was quick to point out Drew Brees hasn't yet retired.
It depends at what cost, but you think about what Russ brings to the game, and I can very much envision, again, if Drew decides to retire, then we look at Russ Wilson in that black and gold, that beautiful black and gold with Mike T, a healthy Mike T, Alvin Kamara. You're talking about, with the receiving core that we have now, add in Emmanuel Sanders, Traquan. I mean, I can see a lot happening with it. With that being said, it's all rumors, it's all hearsay until it does happen.
In the middle, he said, if Drew decides to retire, and then at the end, it's all hearsay and rumors until it actually happens. Again, last week, he very quickly pointed out Jameis. Now it's if Drew decides to retire. Well, in that same interview on Get Up, they pressed a little harder, and the question was, if Russell, will you win a Super Bowl if Russell Wilson is the quarterback of the Saints? Here you go.
I think anytime the last couple of years you've looked at our defense, we've turned a page in our defense that have made us more complimentary towards our team as a whole. And the one thing we had been lacking, prior to the last couple of years was our defense. Now, if you give us a guy like Russell Wilson because Drew has retired, because he has deemed it so fit, I would take Russell Wilson in a heartbeat. That's it's a no-brainer.
Do you win the Super Bowl?
I think we've always been poised. Do
you win the Super Bowl?
So, absolutely. But that's my vision year in, year out.
That's what I'm waiting on. Okay, no, I like that. I want you to say it, Cam. No, Greeny, don't let him off the hook. Yeah. Cam, if you get Russell Wilson, do you have a Super Bowl ring?
I believe if Russell Wilson plays the way he did at the beginning of last season, and he plays that way throughout the whole season, absolutely.
Ryan Clark bullied that man. He straight backed him into a corner and would not let him out, man. But what do you expect Cam Jordan to say? Obviously, of course I think we're going to win a Super Bowl, and I love that. You know what? I want more professional wrestling, more boxing, MMA in my press conferences. I want guys making bold projections and predictions and being more entertaining. And Cam Jordan has been that largely through his career, but you know what? I agree with him. And you know what? I might even go a step further to say, I don't know that I would say necessarily absolutely the Saints win a Super Bowl if they have Russell Wilson, but here's what I do know. Absolutely you don't win a Super Bowl without an elite quarterback, because we've seen it. We've seen it throughout the NFL. We've seen elite quarterbacks in the NFL not win. Jim Kelly is a Hall of Famer, never won a Super Bowl. Dan Marino, Hall of Famer, never won a Super Bowl. It happens. It's really hard to win a Super Bowl. Drew got one in 2009 and never got back. Happens. It's why I laugh at these people. Man, is Mahomes starting a run where he'll win 5 of the next 6? No, are you kidding me? Look how hard it is to do. He got back this year and they got skunked by Tampa. Brady's the outlier. We're spoiled by watching his greatness. I want to be very clear, because my point with all the Russell Wilson conversation is not get Russell Wilson, you're guaranteed a Super Bowl. I don't think there's anything that guarantees anybody a Super Bowl. But you can certainly guarantee yourself that you won't win a Super Bowl if you have a subpar quarterback. That's the reality. You're not winning a Super Bowl without a great quarterback. And I know what you're going to say. What about Nick Foles? I know what you're going to say. And what I know is that Nick Foles, over the course of an entire season, has never been a good quarterback. What we saw was Carson Wentz played an MVP level until he tore his ACL and Foles got hot in the postseason. Okay. Tip of the cap. Well done. Jeff Hostetler did the same thing for the Giants in 1990. Okay. Once every 30 years, something like that happens. I'll take my odds with the elite quarterback putting me in contention to be there every year. And do I think Jameis Winston could be that guy? Yes, I do. Do I think he could be that guy? That's 2 qualifiers. Yes, I do. I think he could. Do I know Russell Wilson can? Yes, I do. Because he's been to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them, and should have won a second if they just run Marshawn Lynch from the 1-yard line. There's a big difference between I think he can or I think he could and I know he can. Big difference. And that's what Cam Jordan's saying there. And I agree with him. You put Russell Wilson on the Saints team, I know he can win a Super Bowl. Doesn't mean you necessarily will, but I know he can. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.